Can you see that?
Yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. Thank you. Who is the audience? Sorry.
I mean, we're still waiting for a few more people to join in so that we can start ahead. Deepak, let me know when we can start with the introductions.
Yeah, so
All right.
they will just wait for another 5 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Okay. I kind of have a hard stop at 5:15 or something maximum.
Perfect. We'll try to wrap it up before that, Samir.
Yeah.
Hi, Deepak. Shall we start?
Yes, you can now start. I will now hand over to the Riya. Riya, now the stage is yours.
Yeah, so afternoon, everyone. So I request Ms. Sarah to introduce our esteemed guest for today's webinar. Ms. Sarah, over to you.
Hi, all. Welcome today to Microsoft's webinar with our esteemed speaker, Mr. Sameer, who is a developer advocate and is the Microsoft's MVP, which is Microsoft's most valuable professional. He has been working in the IT field for past more than 8 years now and is the founder of several other communities. Sameer will be taking us through the use cases of responsible AI using Azure Cloud and different cognitive services under the cloud of Azure. Over to you, Sameer, for a brief introduction, and we can start off with the workshop.
Awesome. Thank you. Let me just go share my screen. This one. Okay. Let me know if you can see that. Can you see the screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Perfect. Thank you. I've been introduced already, so I won't take I won't take much of your time. So I'm Sameer Maisekar, and I'm a dev advocate at a dashboarding company called SquareUp. As mentioned, I am a Microsoft MVP in the category of hybrid cloud. If for those who are not familiar with what a Microsoft MVP is, it's a program by Microsoft that recognizes the community leaders that have been contributing to the improvement in a way for Microsoft's commitment for community and inclusion. So that I've received that award very recently. I think 5 months ago, 6 months ago now. And in addition to that, I do run a couple of other communities as well, including a conference called Experts Live India, which is a community conference focused on Microsoft things. Okay, so that's that. There you go. So today we are here to talk about artificial intelligence, right? Can we get a quick poll of how many people here are already familiar with AI? Or how many of you guys are students? How many are professionals? Is anyone actively working on any Gen AI or just AI project? Anyone wants to comment anything quickly in the chat? Maybe if you can. Just so we set the stage and I understand how deep to go in the conversations. Anyone, students? Could you maybe send an emoji like so? I will wait just a minute because we are already running quite late. Okay, no one. That's fine. So the assumption that I'm going to make is that you are somewhat familiar with AI because we've been hearing and seeing about it everywhere nowadays. So what is artificial intelligence? Let's quickly define that so that we are all on the same page. So it is basically artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence, processed by machines, particularly computer systems. Now, particularly computer systems, but there are also hardware systems with programming capabilities in them that can also simulate human intelligence. The keyword here is to simulate human intelligence, right? So we want the machine to be able to think like us, or in some cases even better than us, right? But at the end of the day, it is a simulation of human intelligence. It is artificial in nature, it is a human, a team of humans that is building these machines in the back, right? So we wanted to simulate human intelligence. So we wanted to learn as if it was a human. We wanted to reason as if it was a human, and we wanted to self-correct as if it was a human, right? So when we as humans go through a learning process, we do some research, we consume a lot of material, we read a lot of blogs, we watch a lot of videos, right? So all this data we are consuming from different platforms. That is again the idea. We want the AI system to be trained on all of the, well, not all of the data, but as much data as possible, right? So that's where the LLM concepts and models, LLM models, large language models come into picture, but we'll talk about them a little later. So that is what the learning phase of the AI is. So once that it has learned based on the textual data or code snippets that are publicly available, or video transcripts and so on, once it has learned all that data, you can then ask it questions, right? And when an AI system answers you, we expect it to give, back it up with solid reasoning. So when a question is asked and an answer is given, the AI system should be able to contextualize it. The AI system should be able to justify the answer, right? So when somebody asks you, let's say, do you like a particular food? Let's say, do you like pani puri? Somebody is asking you, and then you say, no, I don't like it. That sure answers your question. Yeah, do you like it or not? Yes or no? Yes, I like it, or no, I don't. But then a follow-up question would be, why? Why do you like it? Why do you not like it? Right? So if you should be able to back up your answer. I like pani puri because it is, I don't know, tangy and fun to eat, but I don't like pani puri because I don't like the texture. I think it's too spicy. It's too big, right? Too big to eat. Something, whatever, right? So you have a reason behind everything. So whatever opinions that you have, whatever answers that you give, you should have reasoning behind it. And then self-correction. So if somebody corrects you, if somebody points out that you have made a mistake in your answer, these are factual answers, right? So if somebody is asking you what is 2 plus 2, you say 4. Okay, that is the right answer. But you say what is 2 plus 2, it is actually 5. That is factually wrong, right? So either the AI system should be able to identify itself that, hey, this is the wrong answer, not the right answer, or when somebody points it out to it, yeah, hey, I don't think this is the right answer. The right answer should be 4. Then the AI should be able to take that data, feed that data back into its LLM models, fine tune itself, and then correct the data for the next time. What are some of the major applications of AI that we see nowadays, right? So it's navigation systems, games, data predictions. So navigation systems, again, these are just, everybody uses Google Maps or Apple Maps or whatever maps you have. There is a navigation system in there, right? So it tells you where the traffic is at the moment, what patches are red, what patches are green, what patches are yellow, where is the delay, right? So if you choose to go by an alternate route, it shows you this alternate route is actually 3 minutes faster or slower, whatever, right? So that is all AI system working in the back. Games, again, I'm sure a lot of you have played games as children, or a lot of you still play games. I do. So whatever you interact with the environment of the game, the variables of the game, the characters of the game, right? So they have some pre-programmed AI built into them, right? Data predictions. So if this is just basically identifying the trends in the data. So if you have, let's say you're running the CPU trained analysis report, and then you get a report saying that in the past 30 days, the average CPU utilization has been steadily increasing. Let's say that is the trend. Then the AI system should be able to predict, okay, based on the previous data, looks like the CPU utilization is going to further increase by 5% next month or whatever, right? So that is data prediction. Based on the previous data it has been fed, what could be the prediction for the future? Again, this is a prediction. Predictions are prone to, prone to failure, but that is okay. At least as long as you have a prediction line, that is fine. Facial recognition, all of us, we use smartphones. A lot of them have facial recognition, software in there. So you don't even have to, you don't have to type any buttons or draw any patterns while you can. But there is a lot of these smartphones already give you the facial recognition feature as well, right? So all you do is just hold your smartphone in front of your face and it will identify your face and then unlock your phone, right? Easy as that. Autonomous vehicles, you must be hearing a lot about Tesla and all those fancy autonomous vehicles nowadays. Um, Again, autonomous vehicles are not new. None of these systems are new, right? So these have been around for a while. But it is nowadays with the advancement of Gen AI, Gen AI has kind of become synonym with AI. Sentiment analysis. This is something that some let's say platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, or what are the things that commercial applications that use, like what if they are selling something, let's say you want to go buy a laptop from Amazon, right? So what is one of the first things you see is you see the specs and you see the reviews, right? So reviews are, okay, I like this laptop because it is fast. Then somebody says, no, I don't like it because the graphics card is not as good. But then somebody says, no, this is an average laptop. The battery life is not that great, right? So you have a mix of reviews there. So what you want is you want to get an aggregated view of what people are thinking about this particular product, right? So what AI system can do, it can identify the sentiments. If I say, okay, this laptop is great, I was able to play all the games that I wanted to play, right? So that is a positive sentiment. So AI will mark that comment as positive. Then the next one will be, okay, the laptop is fine, but the battery life is not that great. Then it can be a negative sentiment, or it can also be a neutral sentiment, right? Then the AI will identify this as neutral or negative. Then at the end of the day, it will give you a report. It's like, okay, the reviews about this product has been mostly positive, right? With negative points mentioned below, right? So it will summarize and aggregate all those sentiments. And then robotics is again a classic example. If you're into robotics, then you will see a lot of new kinds of robots, and new smarter and smarter robots are coming out. There was an event very recently by Elon Musk, right, where he unveiled, the concept models for helper robot models. So again, all of that is backed by AI in the back. And then the classic uses nowadays is chatbots. Everybody wants a chatbot now. If you have been working in the industry, or even if you're just simply browsing around the internet nowadays, you go to any website and a lot of them have chatbots already. Like IRCTC has a chatbot now. And so if IRCTC has a chatbot, that means chatbot must be really common, right? So a chatbot is basically a bot that is trained on some amount of data in the back. So it goes something like, if somebody asks a question like this, then give them an answer like this, right? So that is what a chatbot does. If you want to go further beyond what chatbot is programmed to do, then they connect you to a live agent, right? So a lot of airline booking systems or MMT or Book My Show, all these apps like that are using chatbots nowadays. Now, I want to make a very bold statement here that AI is not the future. I talk to a lot of people, in webinars like this or in in-person interactions, and I always say that AI is not the future. Well, actually, what I do is first I ask them the question, how many of you guys think that AI is the future? Then some people, put their hand up, some don't. Some give their reasons. Some think that no, AI is just a hype. It's just a fad that it will pass, and we will go back to our old way of working. Then there are some that believe that no, AI is going to stay and it is going to take our jobs, and everybody is in danger, and it is going to kill us all in the near future, right? But so that is their reasoning behind it, right? Some say it is the future, some say it is the not. So some say it is not. What I say is AI is not the future, and for the simple reason is because it is the present, right? So AI anymore, you could say that AI is the future maybe 2 years ago, but today you can't say that because it is already here. AI has already arrived, so to say, right? Like I was just saying, the classic AI, the cognitive service kind of AI has been around forever, right? So we have been playing games, we have been trending data, we have been analyzing data, we have been identifying patterns, we have been using chatbots, we have been using facial recognition, language translations, all these features of cognitive AI we have already been using. So AI, the new AI that we talk about is Gen AI, right? Gen AI is not the whole of AI, it is just a part of AI, right? But AI is already here. We are in the middle of it. And it's not going to stop. Again, there are, in the recent times, there were some concerns about, like I said, that AI taking away jobs of the people, especially like coders. There are a lot of coding assistants nowadays that you just write a prompt to give me, let's say you can write a prompt like create a program for me to sort my array in Python. Now, this is a very simple program, but you just write that prompt and AI will give you that code without having to write a single line of code yourself. Right? So this was taken to a little bit of extreme in the beginning in saying that, oh, no, AI is going to do everything now. Everyone's going to lose their jobs. But that's really not the case. While it's not, hasn't arrived at the state where it can take our jobs, but for sure it is advancing. Like little by little, it is surely advancing. Actually, I say little by little, but actually, heaps by heaps, it is advancing nowadays. And that was the concern up until recently. So there was a call for, slowing down the developments in mainstream AI at least. But once the cat is out of the box, there is no stopping it, right? You can try to contain it, but it's not going to be easy. So it is not going to stop, that's for sure. And so we'll have to adapt to it, simple as that. So we have to identify what we can do with the new trends, how can we get involved in the new technologies, and how can we adapt to it. So let's talk about Gen AI in particular. Again, Gen AI is only it's a branch of AI, like I said, right? So I don't like the fact that AI has become Gen AI in minds of everybody. So when someone is saying AI, they always think of ChatGPT. Do you use AI? Yeah, I use ChatGPT. Right? That's real. Okay, good. That is AI, but that is not the whole of AI. The AI contains other things other than ChatGPT as well. Right? So Gen AI is actually just a branch that is more focused on creating computer systems that can generate content such as text, images, and music that closely resembles human created content. Right? The Gen AI is definitely the coolest AI. Let's say it is the most fascinating AI because anyone can use it. So you don't need any formal training in using ChatGPT, or you can just ask it questions and it will answer. Right? So it is definitely the most convenient, and it's most accessible and easiest to do. But all it does, it just creates it just creates content such as text, images, and videos, audio nowadays, right? So if you go to ChatGPT, ChatGPT is actually, let me give it a click. The ChatGPT works under an LLM called GPT in the back, right? GPT is generative pre-trained transformer. What an LLM is, I'll just give you a quick overview. An LLM is basically lots and lots and lots of data that is fed in the form of parameters, right? Um, so ChatGPT is trained on the data that is publicly available. Let's say some publicly available research papers or publicly available articles, blogs, video transcripts, code snippets from Stack Overflow, Reddit, wherever you post your code, right? So that is trained on that amount of data. It's a huge billions of parameters amount of data, right? And so it will have answers to almost everything. The accuracy of those answers will be questionable sometimes, but it will give you some kind of answer. Again, this is actually released first time. Let me get this out of the way. It was released back in 2018 as GPT-1 by a company called OpenAI. I'm sure all of you have heard of them. But it didn't really break any, break any skies, break any heavens back then, because it was very basic and it was not impressive at all. So then they released the new version GPT-2 in 2019. Again, it didn't really take off that much, but it was in 2020, I think 2020 ChatGPT 3.5. That is where it actually kind of blew up, because that is where it was good enough for public consumption, let's say, right? So everybody could use it, everybody could ask it questions, and that is when it blew up, kind of in like the COVID period, right? Because we had a lot of time in our hands. So that's since then it has just continued to blow up, and it is still blowing up today. So it's just releasing newer models. GPT-4 was in 2023. And now the most recent model is, I think, GPT-4o that was released earlier this year. So these models keep getting better and better and better, and more accurate as the time progresses. So in the advancement of good, Gen AI in particular. So now most of the things we are going to talk about will be in the context of Gen AI, at least in the beginning. There is a good news and a bad news, right? And the good news is that almost anyone can use Gen AI, like we talked about, right? So nobody needs any formal training on how to use ChatGPT, at least at the beginner level. If you want to do any, advanced level prompts and all, then you can take a little bit of training. But for the most part, for the basic audience like you and you and me and all the students, all the teachers, or even a shopkeeper, anyone, your parents, your children, right? They can use Gen AI, they can use ChatGPT most famously. And then there's a bad news, and the bad news is that almost anyone can use Gen AI, right? The same thing. This is a double-edged sword. There are good people who are going to use it for the good. There are bad people who are going to use it for the bad. You must be hearing a lot about the misuses of AI in the recent time, Gen AI particularly, in the recent times, that the deep fakes, right? Putting someone else's face on someone else's body for like very convincingly, right? So people who have been very trained into looking at these images are the only ones that can identify that something is wrong. Otherwise, for the general public, it just looks like a real image, right? You can not only images, but you can create whole videos now. You can create short clips. So you could as well create a clip of me saying something bad or something, sexual or promoting violence or racial. So you could put all the bad words in my mouth, and then you can create a clip and then publish it. They will look almost real. Again, for the trained people who know how to identify the counterfeits, they will be able to tell it apart. But for the general public, it's not that easy. So it's a double-edged sword, and that is why we come to the topic of today, which is responsible AI. What and why? So why is it that we need to use this weapon called Gen AI responsibly, or AI in general responsibly, right? So let's talk about what the responsible AI means. So it's just basically, so a lot of this will be in the context of developing your own AI solutions by writing applications, or just consuming the software that is using AI in the back. So ethical AI development, so ensuring AI systems are designed and deployed in ways that are ethical and fair. So if you are the one that is creating a system, that is writing the code that goes in the tool, then you have to make sure that AI systems are designed in a way that is ethical and fair. Right? What ethical means, what fair means, again, these are more detailedly explained in other literature, but we are not going to go that deep just yet. Transparency, making AI operations understandable and clear to users and stakeholders, right? So if I am using ChatGPT, I should be able to know everything about ChatGPT, how it works, right? So I need not to see the code in the back, but I must be able to see where my data is going. Is OpenAI using my data to train ChatGPT? Is OpenAI saving my data somewhere? Is OpenAI selling my data to anyone? Right. So this is the transparency that the OpenAI as a company has to publish, giving, clarifying everything about their system, how the data is going to come in, how that works in the back, and what happens with the data, right? Then there should be accountability. So for developer or organizations that have released these tools should be held accountable for the outcomes of AI systems, right? So you can't just develop an LLM. Let's say you published an LLM, and I am using that LLM to integrate in my system, but it is very rude, right? It is giving wrong answers. It is giving very inciting answers. No, and then I contact you saying that, hey, the LLM that you designed or created is extremely, let's say, extremely rude. Then you can't just go up and say that that's not my problem, right? Since you have developed that system, it is very much your problem, right? So you should be, and you must be, and you will be held accountable, even in the court of law, right? In some countries. Bias mitigation, actively working on to identify and reduce biases in AI algorithms and data. So bias definitely exists. Like I said, for any LLM to work, it is trained on a lot of data in the back, and that data has to be fed by somebody from somewhere, right? Now the accuracy and the bias of your chatbot will definitely depend on the data that it is trained on. So let's say I have a lot and lot of data that I've fed, that is saying bad things about India as a country, right? So I made a chatbot that the only data that I have fed to that chatbot about India is all bad. So when you ask it a question, how is India as a country? Should I relocate to India? Then it is going to tell you absolutely not. Don't relocate to India because India is a very bad country. It is, ridden with poverty and diseases, and people are bad, and the government is not good. Okay? It's going to list all those reasons for you. Why is that? Because in programming in general, we have a concept called garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you train your LLM, if you train your chatbot on garbage data, the output it's going to give you will be equally garbage, right? So you have to make sure that the data that you're feeding it is free of bias. It is neutral data. It is not favoring any party, political or racial. It can, or maybe it will just say that all the white people are good and all the Asian people are bad, right? So if that is fed on that data, it is going to give you those answers. So need to working on identify these biases and get rid of those. Privacy protection, safeguarding user data and ensuring privacy is maintained. Again, like I said previously, whatever data that I'm feeding to the chatbot as a prompt what is happening to that data, right? To begin with, as the best practice, never reveal your personal data on the internet anywhere in the first place, AI or not, chatbot or not. But let's say you did that mistake and you posted some very personal data, your bank account number and your username, password, and all that. Let's say you fed that as a prompt to a public LLM. What is going to happen to that data? Is somebody going to steal? Let's say they're going to use that credentials to steal money from you. Are they going to hold you on a gun, on a gunpoint and say, if you don't give me money or if you don't do my work, I will publish your data to everybody, right? So there needs to be some privacy protection of the user. Safety and security, ensuring AI systems are secure and do not pose risk to user or society. Again, like I said, safety of the user, safety of the user data, and they do not pose risks. So they are basically not holding the users hostages in return of their data or the society as a whole, right? And inclusivity, so designing AI systems that are accessible and beneficial to all segments of the society. And so whatever the solution that you're building should be able to be used by everybody. Like ChatGPT, anyone can use it. I can use it. You can use it. Students can use it. Your parents can use it. Your grandparents can use it. Children can use it. Rich people can use it. Poor people can use it. People of any religion can use it. Right. So that is all inclusivity. Anyone should be able to use that data or use that application. So why do we need it? To build trust, of course. So when it comes to adopting to any new technologies, trust is the absolute must, right? So if you guys are familiar with cloud computing, cloud computing was introduced, what, 15 years ago now, at least 10-15 years ago. When that was introduced, Azure cloud or GCP cloud or AWS was the first cloud. People were very, what's the word? They were very reserved into moving to cloud. They were very skeptical of what will happen to that data. Is okay, this AWS is all convenient and all, but is it really safe? Is my data safe? Right? So these were all the concerns that were out there. Or even if let's say you want to go to an ATM and you want to draw out some money. So what you do is you take your card, you insert your card, you type in your pin number, and then it gives you the money back. The absolute essential component of this transaction is the trust, right? So you must be able to trust that ATM system, that ATM system will not like just swallow your card, right? It will give that card back to you. Or when you enter the pin, it will not save that pin, and it will not, since you have already inserted the data and you've already inputted the pin as well. It is very easy for it to just save that data somewhere and for somebody to access it from the back, right? But you trust the ATM system not to do that. So when the ATM systems were installed in the beginning, they were, again, people were skeptical, but nowadays everybody is using ATMs, everybody is using digital banking, right? Even today, the generation above us, our parents or especially grandparents, are still not very open about using internet banking because they don't trust it, right? That's how building and maintaining progressing any technology. Trust is an absolute must. Fairness, ensuring AI system do not perpetuate or exacerbate existing inequalities. So in any societies, there will be inequalities, right? There will be gender inequalities, there will be some community inequalities, there will be some philosophical differences between between religious concepts and so on. So AI should not be biased and AI should stay firm and fair, without giving any one side a leading edge, right? So it should not perpetuate any existing inequalities. On the other hand, actually, it should try to reduce it. Because AI system is purely supposed to be based on facts and not opinions. Now, preventing harm to individuals and society from AI-related risks. Again, AI-related risks being deep fakes, deepfake images, deepfake audio, deepfake videos, right? So that is why we should be implementing the responsible AI principles that we'll talk about in a bit. Legal compliance. So if this is not good enough for you, you don't want your AI to be fair or your AI to be safe, then there's legal compliance that you must adhere to, right? You can't just develop an AI solution and say, my job is done. Because when people start using it, it has to comply to the legal requirements that the government of that country has, right? Otherwise, you might as well be jailed by the court of law or banned. Innovation, encouraging sustainable and ethical innovation in AI technologies. Again, we want the AI system. This is a weapon. AI is absolutely a weapon. Think of it as, let's say, think of it as a gun. You have a gun in your hand. What you do with that gun? Do you use it only in the cases of self-defense, or are you going to shoot up innocent people? That is going to be absolutely key with the weapon in your hand, right? Social good, again, leveraging AI to address societal challenges and improve quality of life. Again, like I said, not only it should not perpetuate the existing inequalities, it should actually try to reduce them. Because again, like I said, the AI system is supposed to be based on facts. It is supposed to be based on data, the numbers, statistics, and should not create any beliefs of their own, or should not be able to create any opinions without backing it up with any solid reasoning. So let's get back to the topic at hand, which is Azure OpenAI service. So we are just now entering into the Microsoft Azure realm, but all of the introduction before that, the preface was absolutely necessary, because if I were to just go into Azure OpenAI service and show you what things happen here, that would have made no sense to you at all, right? I believe into taking steps one by one. So you take one step, then go to next and go to next. You don't just skip 5 steps and then directly jump on the 6th, because then it will make absolutely no sense to you. So now that we have set up all the context, or now we are all on the same page, now let's talk more about what Microsoft is doing in this space, right? So the GenAI service that Microsoft is offering in the Azure space is Azure OpenAI service, right? This is basically Microsoft acquired OpenAI a couple of years ago, and then they basically integrated all the LLMs by OpenAI into their Azure products, and they gave it a different name, Azure OpenAI service. Yeah, so that's what it is. So it provides REST API access to OpenAI's powerful language models, including O1 Preview, O1 Mini, GPT-4.0, GPT-4.0 Mini, GPT-4, GPT 3.5, and embedding model series and all. Again, these are when you're using, I don't know if a lot of you are using, I'm going to assume that the two AI systems, Gen AI systems, chatbots that you guys use is one ChatGPT, of course, and second is Edge Copilot, Copilot by Microsoft. So I'm going to assume those are the two key chatbots that you use. And when you use ChatGPT, you're actually using ChatGPT 3.5, I believe, unless they have switched it to GPT-4 now. But when you talk to ChatGPT, you're actually talking to GPT 3.5 LLM in the back, right? And when you're talking to Copilot, Edge Copilot, you are actually talking to ChatGPT 4. Anyway, so this is all in the context of developing new applications. So if you're a developer looking to create new new applications backed by Azure OpenAI service, then OpenAI service has native SDKs in these languages: C#, Go, Java, JavaScript, and Python. And so when you are writing your code in Python, you can import an OpenAI service package, the responsible AI package, and use those functions there. There is also an easier way, Azure OpenAI Studio, GUI-based platform for people like us, non-developer folks, who just want to look at what the capabilities of the product are without, before committing to it, right? Because OpenAI, using GenAI in general is expensive, right? It is fancy and it is fascinating, but it is also equally expensive. Every request you make will cost you something, or every request that your user makes will cost you something in the back. So it is absolutely necessary that before committing to using a service, it could be in Azure, it could be in AWS, could be in GCP, whatever. You do your whole, you do the due diligence. You have done the complete research as to what you need, when you need, and how much do you need, right? So that is what the GUI based platform, Azure Open Studio, will help you understand. If we get time, I will show you what that studio looks like. Right, so that was about Azure OpenAI service. That is the Gen AI part of what Microsoft is offering. And then there's Azure Cognitive Services. Nowadays, they are called Azure AI Services. Again, just take a look at these services here. These are all AI services. So when somebody says that AI is Gen AI, now you know that is not true, right? So you know now there are other services that also exist. So there is a bot service, there is Azure AI search, there is content safety, there is custom vision, there is face recognition, language, speech, translator, vision, right? So these are all AI services as well. So if you have an application that you want to use, let's say you want to use facial recognition, or you want to, let's take translator. You're building an app that will take it will take text in one language and then output the text or translation in the other language. So you don't really need to do the whole OpenAI LLM integration. You only need to integrate with translator. There is a separate service for that. Right, so this is one of the I would say widest and the stupidest thing that a lot of companies are doing. They just want to hop on that Gen AI bandwagon, and they just want to say that, hey, now our app is Gen AI compliant, or we are using Gen AI in our app, when in reality their app does not need Gen AI at all. Right? So all they are doing is either scamming you or lying to themselves. Right? A lot of the times you don't even need the whole LLM. You could get away with something called SLM, small language model, which is specialized to do one particular task. Because let's say you are a doctor, right? So to become a doctor, what kind of material are you going to consume? You are going to read doctor material. You are going to read all the doctor books, like all the medical books. You are not going to you're not going to learn physics. You're not going to learn law. You're not going to learn um, computer systems, computer programming, right? So if your application only needs a particular side of the LLM or the particular specialty of the LLM, why use the whole LLM, right? So it is like if you want to send a package this big, right? If you want to, I don't know, send a mouse and a keyboard to your friend, and you want to just parcel it with DTDC, let's say. Oh, or however, what are you going to do? You're going to put it in a, uh, or you're going to take it yourself. So what are you going to do? You're going to pack it, put it in your bag, so hop on your bike or scooty, whatever you're using, and then you go and deliver that, right? You are not going to hire, an 18 XL truck, an absolute truck. You're not going to hire a tempo just to put a small package in that tempo, and then the tempo will deliver that, right? Makes absolutely zero sense. And it is going to cost you a lot for no reason. So that is why I said, when thinking of integrating with AI systems, if there are any entrepreneurs or founders in the audience, current founders, existing founders, or future entrepreneurs, let's say, who aim to build a product. Make sure that you have done your research. Identify the service that you want. Identify the capabilities that you want. Don't pay for something that you don't need. Right? Simple as that. Now, all of these AI systems will have separate guidance of what responsible AI means in context of these services, which I will click on in a minute. Let me just go through this slide deck first. I think we are at the end of it anyway. Demo. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is let's start with clicking on this link here. I think you probably won't be able to see that. Let me stop and reshare my screen. Share. This one should do it. Right, do you see the screen? There is responsible use of AI with Azure AI services. Can somebody confirm that, please?
Yes, Samir, we can see.
Perfect. So this is the list of all the guidelines that you should be following when you want to develop an application that uses one of these services, right? So you will see GenAI. There are two components. Azure is OpenAI response, overall responsible AI concepts, and then Azure AI content safety, right? So especially in the case of generative AI, content safety is absolute must, because like I said, there's two things to it. One, it should not accept any bad data, any bad inputs. And two, it should not output any bad inputs, right? So when you say, how is Samir as a person, it's going to tell you, I'm sorry, Samir, I don't have, I'm not trained on the personal data of users or people. So I will not be able to answer that. So that is the right answer. Not like, okay, Samir is a terrible person. He talks rudely. He's not knowledgeable. He is just faking his expertise and all that. So right. So these are bad things that the AI is giving you, and that should not happen. So that is the Azure AI content safety. So when you are dealing with users and you are dealing with user sentiments, then Azure AI content safety becomes very important. And then you've got the other AI systems that we talked about, right? Vision, language, speech, search. So if you let me click on a couple of them, let's start with Azure AI content safety, because everybody loves Gen AI, right? So like I was saying, transparency is important whenever you're consuming or whenever you're offering a service. So in this case, Microsoft is offering this service to us, Azure AI content safety. So what is the transparency of the system? What is the system doing? How is it handling my data? Right. So that is everything is written here, right? So the basics of Azure AI content safety. How does it work? What are the key terms? What are the capabilities? What are the use cases? How is it intended to be used? Right. Considerations when choosing other use cases. So when you have a use case out of this standard use cases, then what should you do, right? So these are all the guidelines, limitations of this service, how the system will perform when you are running this service, best practices, how to improve accuracy. So everything about running this service will be told to you transparently, right? That is the idea. So no holding back of any information from Microsoft, no faking any information. They will say, oh, no, it's okay, we don't save your data. They will save that on, in your face, but then in the back they are still using and selling your data, right? That is absolute, of course, not transparent at all, right? So if Microsoft actually breaks away or violates any of these policies, then they will actually be answerable and accountable to all these policies, right? Why did you not adhere to these policies, this transparency note that you had published? Why have you not adhered to it? So it will actually be a a lawsuit against them. You can read more. So data privacy, security for Azure AI, content safety. How is the data treated? How is the data retained? Are you saving my data forever? Or are you saving it for 3 days? Are you saving it for a month and then deleting it? Or how is the data being treated? Right, all of that. Let's take a different one. Let's take face, for example, AI system face recognition. Again, this will have a transparency note, how this face API, Vision Face API works. How is the data treated? Is it saved somewhere? These are key terms. What an image means, what a verification is, what an enrollment is, what is an ID, what are the limitations, and all right. So you get the idea. But when you go to all the documentation of each of these AI products or services, you will always see a section called, where did it go? There it is, responsible use of AI. Right. So you must make sure that you are adhering to the code of conduct here. Right. So access requirements, responsible AI mitigation requirements. So what it must do and what it must not do, right? So it must not be used in any way that violates Microsoft acceptable use policy. So you have to make sure you have to be used it to infer a person's gender even, right? So when a face API identifies a face, all it should do is identify the face, not assume the gender, right? You should not just look at a face and assume that it is a man's face or a woman's face or a transgender face or whatever, right? So it should be what's the word, prone to that, or it shouldn't be prone to that rather. So emotional state of their facial expressions, this and that, right? So this it should not do. This is just some of the things with this service in particular, but again, going back to this list, there's a whole list of the things that you should and you must consider when you're integrating these APIs in your product. That's one thing. The other thing I wanted to show was, let me go back to my presentation. I have one more link there. Actually, I will share my whole screen so that I don't have to keep sharing windows. This one. Okay, so I told you I will show you. Do we have time? Cyril, do we have a couple of minutes?
Yes, Samir, we'll have 5 minutes because I will be taking over post that and taking
Sure.
participants through the Microsoft Startups program as well.
Sure. I'll just wrap it up. I'll just show them the portal and we can wrap that up.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the Azure portal for those who are not familiar. I will look for OpenAI, Azure OpenAI services, right? So this is the service offering. Now, damn, I actually don't have anything running at the moment. Let's see if there's something in a different tenant. Never mind, it's too much hassle. Come on. Let me check in this directory. If it is there, then I'll show you. If not, then that's okay. So the reason it is not there right now is whenever I create an OpenAI, there is one. Whenever I create an OpenAI instance just to play around, I immediately delete it after because, like I said, if I keep it running, it is going to cost a lot. So immediately when I'm done using that, I delete it. Let me take you to the Azure OpenAI Studio. Then I will try a couple of prompts and then we can finish. Mm, There you go. So there is the model catalog. So you can choose from any models that OpenAI supports, Azure OpenAI. So these are all the ones that some of the ones that I showed you in the PPT. GPT-4, GPT 3.5, TTS HD, TTS Babbage, Text DaVinci. Right. So these are the model that you choose will depend on what you want to do. Again, right. So there will be so if you want to do speech recognition, you will do Whisper. You will not deploy GPT-4 because that is not made for that. This one's made for that. So these are playgrounds, like I was saying, these are GUI based, graphic user interface based. So you don't have to make any API calls for this. So you can just go and chat with this model. So right now it is the deployment model that I've chosen is GPT-4.0. So I can, yeah, I want to start chatting. Why won't it is wrong? It's not letting me. It's not letting me type anything. No clue why. Okay, essentially this is the playground. This is ChatGPT, but in a different user interface, right? So it's the same model, or not the same, not GPT 4.0, but a similar model that is being used behind ChatGPT as well. So this is in a sense this is ChatGPT in Azure OpenAI service context. So you can talk to your own data as well. So you can add your own, I can add my resume, for example, or my bio data, whatever, and then I can ask questions to the chatbot, um, based on the data that it has been given by me, which you cannot do, which cannot do for ChatGPT. It is only trained on the data that is given by OpenAI. You cannot add on your own data to on top of that data. Right. Anyway, so sorry, I cannot show that. I think it's a permission issue. This is an application in production and it's probably restricted in access. So I am not able to do that, but it's fine. No worries. That's it, I think. So if you want to take over, I don't think I have any. Yeah, I just wanted to close this off saying that AI is indeed here to stay. And so let's all use it responsibly, right? So there's no one stopping you using Gen AI. Please do. It is a fantastic technology, but just make sure that you're using it well. These are some further reading material if anybody wants to go and read further. So Microsoft does offer more tools, a toolbox, AI dashboard, prompt shields, and all the things like that. So if you want to go and practice on them, I invite you to go read this documentation and try it out. Thanks. That's all for now. If you have any questions, you can ask it now, or this is the QR code. If you want to scan it, it will take you to all my social media links. So if you want to connect with me on any of them, please feel free to send a request. That's it for me, Saral. So if you want to take that over.
No, thank you, Samir, so much for the valuable workshop that you've given us. I hope everybody present here today uh, has. I'm sorry. Yeah. Samir, thank you so much again for the educative workshop. Everybody, I think, here has received valuable inputs and how to use Azure responsibly. Uh, and for now, I will be introducing the program called Microsoft for Startups Founders Hub. Just allow me a moment to share my screen. So yeah, this is the program for all startup founders in the tech domain where Microsoft is helping them build their technological infrastructure. Any individual with an idea or a set or a set organization or a startup can apply for this program. The benefits of this program are as follows: that you get $150,000 of free Azure credits. Apart from that, you also get Microsoft Office 365, GitHub Copilot, etc. Apart from that, the benefits of this program are that you also get OpenAI credits. You receive mentorship and guidance from business leaders, technical experts from the Microsoft ecosystem. So when I say $150,000 of Azure credits that you'll be getting, you get that over a period of 4 years. Apart from the benefits, you also get Microsoft services like Visual Studio Enterprise, GitHub, OpenAI, Microsoft 365 Premium subscription, Power Platform like Power BI, Power Automate, Dynamics 365 sales, and customer service. So when I say that the Azure credits are given for up to 4 years, there are different levels that the Azure credits are given into. In the first in the first year of the onboarding, you get $1,000 of credits. And as and when you gradually progress and grow, you keep on getting 5,000, 25,000, and $150,000 of Azure credits. Apart from that, you also get access to Microsoft partners like Data, OpenAI, Ansarada, etc. Like previously that I mentioned, you get technical advisory events and trainings and events like one that we just conducted today. Webinars, etc. is what is given to you through the Microsoft for Startups program. The program selection guidance are that your startup must be into development stage of a software-based service, and this cannot be a government or an NGO or a government personal institute or into crypto mining. Thank you so much, everybody. For any other questions, you can please let us know.
Yeah, so if anyone have any questions, then please feel free to type in the chat box, or you can raise your hand, we'll unmute you. Okay, so I think there's no any question for now. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Shamil, for the engaging talk on the responsible use of AI using Azure AI services. And thank you, Ms. Saral, for moderating the webinar. And also thanks to our media team for the smooth coordination of the webinar. If you have any further questions or would like to connect, please feel free to reach out to us after the session. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.